Hi, my name is Justin with Concord Lands. I'd like to talk to you about selling land for sale by owner in New Mexico. So a couple of topics we'll cover in this video are a few reasons why selling land by owner can be difficult, and then what it looks like to sell through a real estate agent or sell to a land investor. So one of the reasons why selling land by owner can be difficult, so why would someone sell land by owner? Well, it's usually to avoid paying real estate agents the commission for marketing, selling, and closing the property. It can be anywhere from 6% normally for like a housing situation, but up to, for land it often goes up to 10 or even higher percent for a real estate commission. So, but one of the reasons why doing this route can be difficult is the owner has to actually market the property. Traditionally, real estate agents have tools such as the multiple listing service, MLS, and other platforms to actually list the property to get it in front of potential buyers. So if you go this route by selling your own land, you're going to have to find ways to get the word out that you're selling it, and you're going to incur extra costs and work to get it onto those platforms. Another reason is, I think a lot of people tend to forget that even if you sell by owner, oftentimes you're still going to have to find a title company and even sometimes an escrow company or an attorney, depending on what state you're in, to close the deal. And you're still going to have to pay those fees to close through those companies. The facilitate closing is an important piece as well. So your potential buyer is going to have questions about the closing process. They're going to want to know what documents they're going to need to sign, the process of closing through title, and you need to be prepared to answer those questions. And a lot of that comes with experience, as well as having a knowledge of those different title companies and the how long closing will take, all those things. So that's one thing that you should be prepared if you're thinking about selling land by owner. Another reason is it'll likely take a long time to sell your property. Unless you're willing to take far below market value, you'll just go on any of the normal listing services. Just go on Zillow, for example, and look at some of the land out there. It show you how long some of these properties are on, have been for sale, sometimes years. Not saying listing with a real estate agent it will necessarily improve that. Real estate agent listings for land often sit there for quite a long time as well. But just understand if you're looking for market value or higher, you're likely going to be listing that for a long time. Now that's a very general statement, but in my experience that's pretty standard. So let me get back to that. Why is that? Well, one of the big reasons is, I'd say the biggest reason is financing for land for vacant land is not always readily accessible by most folks. Getting financing for a home is much easier through a bank, through a mortgage broker, those types of things. But getting financing for vacant land is tougher for folks, so they can't come up with the cash oftentimes. So selling to a land investor, listing with a real estate agent. So listing with a real estate agent, I mentioned, it can also take a very long time if you list your property with a real estate agent. Why is that? Well, to be upfront with Frank, most real estate agents are used to listing homes. They're not necessarily familiar with the land, and ultimately, unless you're selling a large tract for a high amount of money, the juice isn't always worth the squeeze for them to spend time on marketing your property. If they're going to earn 6% on a house sale worth $300,000, their time is best spent selling that property over, let's just imagine you're selling a 5-acre property for $30,000. 10% of that is much less, right? So if you go on Zillow again and just poke around, you'll see that a lot of the listings by real estate agents are it's not all the time, but oftentimes they're incomplete. They don't have a lot of information, and they're just not spending a lot of time marketing these properties. And then just the last little note here. So selling to a land investor, what does that look like? So frankly, you're not going to get as high a price as what you would probably want to on a real estate listing through a real estate agent. If you're going to market at market price or higher, land investors are likely not going to look too closely at that. However, what land investors bring to the table is if you find the right land investor, and one of our videos on our site actually talks about how to vet land investors, but an experienced investor can make a process quick and painless, right? They have the knowledge to handle the paperwork, communicate with the title company. They are going to be able to answer all your questions, and they're going to make that process a lot easier. So to summarize, you may get more if you do a for sale by owner or if you list with a real estate agent. But again, you're looking oftentimes, in general sense, a long time to sell that property. And in the long run, after marketing expenses, commissions, and things like that, it's a personal question whether you'd prefer to work with an experienced and transparent land investor to assist you through that process. What's the cost of holding on to that property for a really long time versus making that transition smooth, easy, and So if you have questions or would like a cash quote for your property, especially in New Mexico, you can go to our website, checklands.com, and just fill out the information, and an investor like myself will get back to you with a cash offer.